Hey, I'm here. What's up, everybody? Nice to see you. All right. This is Devlin, Tarabuster. Thank you, Charlie from APS Radio News, for keeping the show going and growing, and for all your support of the community cats. That's APS Radio and APS Radio News. Okay. How do we begin? Where do we begin? I'm in a pissy mood, and I don't know about you. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the toxic air that Republicans have created in this country. And I was thinking about what we could talk about. There's never a shortage of crimes and horrors to talk about in this awful timeline that we're all sharing together. I'm really glad that we're doing it together. I don't know what I would do if I was alone out here, but thankfully we have each other. Thankfully we have the Political Voices Network. And thank you, Jim, over on the YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being a moderator and keeping us safe in the chat room, because we know sometimes we get these maggots in there and they offer nothing. They bring nothing to the table. I get a little, okay, I do subscribe to Twitter because I use it to get clips and things like that. I post on there. I have to go. Really what I find myself doing is posting in response, responding to something. And I know myself, so I have to really, when I have to go grab a clip or something, and I also go there to just see what the maggots are saying, but there's no great surprises what they're saying. It's the same old shit, same old lies, and divisive rhetoric, hateful, nothing, offering nothing, just poisoning everything they touch. And so I have to really be careful. I've been contemplating canceling my subscription, whatever that $8 a month is. And because it is really just a toxic cesspool. And I find myself when I get on there and I start, there's not enough hours in the day to go after all the lies. There really aren't. And this is how they spread their bullshit. This is how fascism works, part of it. It runs on propaganda. We know that. And but we do, and I'm of the opinion, I've been saying it for years, that when that we just can't let the lies lay in the middle of the floor unchallenged. So, but how I'd never get anything done if I simply responded to every lie. It's unbelievable that okay, it's kind of overwhelming, really. So the State of the Union speech from hell, whatever that was, it wasn't a speech, it was a rambling exercise in authoritarian gaslighting. And the Republicans at this point, first of all, I don't know why any Democrat showed up there. I was of the opinion that none of them should be there, to fall into. And I understand. Then I heard one of the senators say, well, I represent everyone, my entire state, people who voted for Donald Trump, people who did it. So, okay, I get it. But the State of the Union clearly it's not a State of the Union. Traitor Trump, it's a lie to the Union. It's an infomercial for his lies and gaslighting. And the Democrats being so disrespected and frankly used as props with that pig, that pedo, that goddamn con man all over the Epstein files pointing at Democrats saying, these people are crazy. I am so sick of the maggots, and I don't know, you let me know your opinion too, because I've been saying it for years. Republicans, they lack the fundamental decency, maturity, all that to function in a free democratic society. They don't want to live in a free democratic society, especially a multiracial one. This is what we're under attack. The whole notion of liberal democracy, of multiracial liberal democracy, is under attack by an authoritarian death cult that hates this country, and they're attacking us from within. So I don't really want to go gently or quietly into that dark fascist night. And if it comes down to it, we should break this country in half, because I am sick of them. I am sick of, not just because of I'm sure you're sick of them as well. And I'd like to know your opinion too, because at this point, it's like a bad marriage for a very long time. And these people, they don't have the decency, the dignity, the maturity to simply say thank you. They are waging war. I mean, thank you for my blue state dollars, keeping their poorly run red states afloat. The blue states are the engine of the economy. No one wants to go see the moon over the meth lab in Mitch McConnell's district, right? They want to come to New York. They want to go to Los Angeles. They want to go to Hollywood. They want to go to the cultural meccas of the world. We've been the ones that make America great. Are you kidding me? We've been the people who are capable of living in a multiracial liberal democracy. We've been the ones who've put our best foot forward in the world, while Republicans have done everything they can to divide and distract and drag us backwards because of this baboon. Now, when I watched the State of the Union, and maybe that's why I have that pit in my stomach, the perpetual pit, because some people said I didn't watch it or whatever, and I'm kind of envious, but because we knew what we were in store for. And it is a poison. It's a poison well. That's all he does. That's all that baboon knows how to do. But watching the Republicans, listening to them, looking at, what's his name, J.D. Vance and little Mike Johnson behind the baboon, smirking and laughing and standing up for the lies, it's clear that the Republican Party is a lost cause. They are a lost cause. They are irredeemable, all of them. And they don't have the best interest of this country at heart. Because if you have the best interest of your country at heart, you're trying to, make America great, you don't behave like that. You don't lie. You don't put an unfit crypto con man in the seat of power and let him run rampant over the Constitution. I mean, how dare they laugh when Trader Trump says he should be on his third term by now? How effing dare they? They don't have the balls to rein that baboon in because they're as weak and ugly and unfit as he is. And liberal democracy is just too decent. It's too big. It's too modern, and it's too great for them. So they don't want it. They want to chuck it out because it's so much easier to steal. It's so much easier to control other people, to use people as nothing but hosts from which to suck profit and discard if you don't have to consider the general welfare. Hey, sell them a bullshit bill of goods about, your bootstraps and await their rewards in heaven. That's why you whittle away the wall of separation between church and state. Everything the Republicans are doing is an assault on this country. All their policies, every single one. Somebody point out one that's not, and we'll talk about it. I like to, I'm not here to just bash Republicans. We just give credit where credit's due. We just bring the receipts. It's not like I got a pathological, I really do wish they were sincere partners in governance. It's not about conservatism. They're not conservatives at all. They are regressives. They're acolytes. I mean, they're really loyalists to King George III. And they have they're on a long game. You know, they've been trying to drag us back to the system the founders overthrew since the founders declared independence from the crown. They never liked the Enlightenment. That's why they're all like J.D. Vance. He's the little bitch boy of Peter Thiel. He's the creation of Peter Thiel, one of the funders of the Dark Enlightenment, which all of this shit does not get enough attention in the mainstream press, of course. That's why I'm always screaming about the mainstream press, because they have brought us to this point. An authoritarian could never get this far into our halls of power without the help of propaganda. It's one of their it's a vital ingredient in the coup. But I just want to play a clip. I got it from Jimmy Kimmel's show last night. It's a montage of the Republican response to the State of the Union address. Now, we rest assured that the mainstream media, for the most part, whatever's left of the legitimate press, have universally eviscerated the State of the Union. Oh, hi, Boudica. Boudica's trying to... You want to say hello? No? Okay, go away. She doesn't like being picked up. I don't blame her. She's a very independent woman. Sorry, I didn't mean to tease you like that with Boudica. She's trying to jump up and then she walks away. Okay, so where was I? Yes, the lie to the union. What a disgrace. Okay, so we, as I was saying, whatever's left of the mainstream press have, in the reviews are in for Trader Trump's lie to the union, and they're not good. Not only was it a poorly attended with the worst ratings, it was the longest, most rambling, I don't even know. I mean, at some points, I laughed out loud because I couldn't believe what I was watching. I was like, where is Alan Funt? Right? Where's Andy Kaufman? When all of a sudden I would imagine he would come out and, pull the hoods off these monsters and say, yes, we've all been experiencing an Andy Kaufman-esque type performance art piece for the last, since Reaganomics. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. And, but still, this goes to show you, this is why I'm like, we need to break this country up, because we're all experiencing reality. We live in the reality-based community. That's why we have the emotional maturity to function in a free democratic society. They do not. They live in the comforts of their delusions. And trust me, history will revile them more than we're doing now. When the future looks back, they're not going to be bamboozled. They're not going to be like, wow, Trader Trump, what a guy. He really did make America great and set up America for success. That is not going to happen. They will look back and mock the Republican Party. They will give credit where credit's due. Just like we give credit to Hindenburg in Germany for being the gravedigger of the Weimar Republic, and Mitch McConnell in this country. Oh, look who I got. Look who I got here. All right, Buddha. All right, let's play the clip of, and I just want to play this because it's beyond belief. All right, Buddha, you can't do that. Sit down.
President Trump delivered the strongest State of the Union speech in modern history.
One of the greatest, most triumphant speeches ever given by a president.
I've been to like 19 of these. This is by far the best one.
I think it was the best State of the Union speech that I've seen.
President Trump showed up and showed out.
President Trump was outstanding.
Epic.
Masterful.
Sensational.
Very inspiring.
You know, it was the longest one ever, but it didn't feel like that.
It didn't seem the longest. It seemed about right size to me.
The time went
Right
by
size.
very fast.
You didn't notice it was 2 hours.
He could have gone much longer.
He thrashed these godless politicians. I mean, it just made me want to wave the American flag and play Leonard Skinner's Freebird.
You were proud to be American through the speech.
No.
If you were not chanting USA, at least in your heart, I don't know why.
President Trump gave a majestic speech tonight.
Wow, majestic. Don't they? I mean, the answer is no. I was going to say, don't they have any dignity? The answer is absolutely no. They're not. That this is a. How could they believe the words that come out of their mouth? President Trump gave a majestic speech. You heard that. You saw that. It was gross. It was blood-soaked. It was lie-riddled. Yeah, that's not... It's just a montage that was on Jimmy Kimmel's show. It's not Kimmel himself, of course. I took the montage from there. They put it together. So I thank them for doing that. But I don't know. The lies and the attacks on, of course, trans people and immigrants and diversity in general were rampant. And then I thought I was watching the like an episode of what is that? You know, like a reality TV show. Like he's handing out Congressional Medal of Freedom, like Oprah's saying, "Look under your chair." You give the highest award, civilian honor, to a hockey player who made a goal at the Olympics. I don't think that qualifies, but Republicans cheapen everything. They denigrate everything. You know, they cheapen it all. And then he's up there saying how he wish he could give one to himself. And the Republicans are laughing. They think it's funny how they have destroyed America, you see? For all their flag waving and chanting of USA, USA. How dare they? I mean, their policies have made everything worse in the country. Trump and the Republicans have made us less free, less prosperous. We're risking recession. We are suffering with high unemployment now. No one's coming here. People don't want to come here anymore. No one's visiting. No one is immigrating here. Why would they? Can't get health care. Oh, and I did another, one of the, I think we did we talk about this on this show? But one of the articles I wrote for Political Voices Network was about Trump RX. He mentioned Trump RX. It's a scam. Oh, no one could do it. No one could bring down prescription drug costs. I did it. Oh, well, they tried to do it. They didn't try. Other presidents tried. They didn't try. I tried. You know, I mean, just patting himself on the back for putting his name on good RX. That's what Trump RX is. And I wrote an article about it. I did a video about it. I think we shared about it on this show. That you hear anyone in the mainstream media discussing this? No one brings it up, of course, because there's so many other lies. And then he points to some dumb bitch in the audience. Her prescription drug bill is now lower. Well, she could have been doing that for the last 10 years because Good RX has existed. Well, it's more than 10 years. I think since 2010, Good RX exists. Trump, there's no negotiating prices. There's no federal involvement here. There's no deal. The only deal is Trump put his name on Good RX. They are, if you look at the fine print on Trump RX, it says powered, quote unquote, powered by Good RX. So when you could either go to Good RX or go to Trump RX, it's the same thing. It's a manufacturer coupon site. That's it. Have a nice life, suckers. I fixed your prescription drug problem. It's unbelievable. And then the corporate media, then what do they do? I've just seen some local stories about how people are using Trump RX. Do they mention this? They just say, "Oh well, I'm very sorry that you can't get generics on this." Well, that's because it's a manufacturer coupon site. It has nothing to do with the federal government. And I wouldn't be surprised, even though I looked when I was writing the article, I was trying to find who's getting a cut of this, because you know that the baboon is getting a cut for using his name. Good RX, there is no doubt in my mind, is giving him a kickback. And probably the drug companies themselves are just like how Good RX makes money. They're kicking back to the baboon for using his name. And this Good RX front end is basically, is well, it's now because we have this parasite in our body politic. It has all the trust that used to come with a .gov URL. So it's trumprx.gov. So you know that Trader Trump is getting a kickback. I haven't heard anybody say anything about it. I don't know. I guess we're just, it's learned helplessness. And the American people are so distracted and divided that it doesn't matter. I mean, it's like you don't have the strength to fight back. Trader Trump gave a majestic speech tonight. Majestic. I don't understand what he has on these spineless lickspittles. Don't they have any dignity? Our saving grace, I often think, about that great getting up morning. Thank goodness he's pushing 80, okay? Thank goodness. None of us can escape time, the ravages of time. We're all finite beings. That's the one good thing about Trader Trump. Somebody asked me once, give me one good thing about Trump. Just say something nice, because you know how both sides. Say something nice about Trump. I said, well, he's a finite creature, as we all are. And this too shall pass. And we better be taking notes and keeping a list and checking it twice, who's naughty and who's nice in this situation, because we got a lot of work to do. And the Republican Party is irredeemable. And if it comes down to it, I don't know about you, we got to break this country up, because I'm not putting up with this shit forever. The disrespect, the infantilism, the juvenile antics, the lies, the nonstop lies. And hold on a second. I mean, if everything, he attacks DEI. See, they all do this. They attack the things that actually make America great. It's all a grift for them otherwise, and then they whine and bitch and moan. And no one hates America. I have to tell you, we know this. No one shits on America, hates America more than the Republicans. None of them. Trump talking about how, we are a failing nation, everything sucks. And to blame Joe Biden for what? Leaving him a good economy, with an economy on the rise, with the greatest jobs president for generations, whereas Trump left him the worst jobs record since Herbert Hoover. It's the gaslighting. That's how the corporate media has failed us. The American people don't know these stats off the top of their heads, like I do. like you do, because we're paying attention. But it's also a failure of the Democratic Party, frankly, because, and that's another thing I wanted to talk about, which really pissed me off. That's probably why I'm feeling very, very salty today, on top of the general fascist coup angst I have. It's Gavin Newsom's interview with CNN, and he's once again bashing Democrats, or, well, basically he's saying, what did he say? Where is it? He's so weak. Let me get the clip here.
No doubt that the Democrats...
I'll play it so we can talk about it. It's not just bashing. He's bashing, it's another... He's taking the Republican side. He's legitimizing their hate, really. Okay, where is it? Here we go. Just playing it off the screen here. Oopsie boopsie. This is Instagram.
And on the no doubt that the Democratic Party needs to be, dare I say, more culturally normal. I believe that. Less prone to spending disproportionate amount of time on pronouns, identity, politics. More focused on tabletop issues, things that really matter, the stacking of stress in terms of electricity bills and child care costs and health care and obviously housing costs, and how easily we get trapped in that. How we get trapped.
Oh, you've been.
I mean, here I was, way out front on marriage equality. So I understand this from both on the receiving end of this and on the...
Wow. Okay. We need to be more culturally normal, says Gavin Newsom. Now, okay, I'm annoyed by this because this gives... I mean, he's a front runner. He's not perfect, of course. I don't know who's going to appear and save us from from magotry. We need an FDR. We need somebody that isn't tickling the right-wing balls. This is what Republicans, see, what corporate Dems do. They always run to the center. There's never a lesson that a corporate Dem learns, so to speak, that doesn't include kicking down on the base or joining the Republicans and kicking the marginalized and politically unconnected, or tacking to the center, tacking to the right, trying to make yourself palatable to the hate-mongering maggots or the Republicans. The disaffected supposed Republicans are just going to wake up one day and they're going to vote Democratic when they can't even say the goddamn name of the Democratic Party. They're going to vote Democrat. No, that's not going to happen. And let me tell you guys, the reason this is so dangerous and damaging to us as normal people, as patriots who want to live in a free democratic society, is because he's giving validity to the Republican whining, the whine machine about pronouns and gender. No one talks more about pronouns than the Republicans. I've been a Democrat my entire life. And I hang out with Democrats. I am involved with, movements in the Democratic Party and activism. We all know each other, right? We're talking here. We talk all the time on the chat and everything. None of us are whining and bitching about pronouns. Nobody does. You see, they do it. The Republicans do it. So don't tell me this is about, we're the ones with identity politics. That's all Republicans have. And there's a way to fight these Republicans, the propaganda, the hate-mongering, divisive propaganda, and it's not by agreeing with them. No one talks more about genders and pronouns than Republicans do. And they do it deliberately to kick down on the politically unconnected and the marginalized and trans people. when somebody says, they come out of the closet as trans and I prefer this pronoun, you know what I say? Okay. And then I fucking move on. And we talk about other things like health care, living wages, retirement security. We're not, it doesn't move the meter. It doesn't, we don't obsess about it all day. And this is what Gavin Newsom should say. What do you talk about culturally normal? What's culturally normal? In the right wing, culturally normal is 19 kids and counting, huh? Culturally normal is praying to an ancient sky spook, I guess, or thinking that gays don't have the same legal right, the constitutional right, to form a marriage contract. Or someone with the same peepee marriage contract. That's, I guess, culturally normal to be a hate mongerer and to shove your way of life, and that's what they're about, because they hate freedom, shoving it down our throats. We're not going into their communities and telling them what to do. We go side hug all you want, side hug, and don't kiss until marriage, or don't, whatever the hell you want to do, go for it. We're not telling you what to do, but they want to come into our communities and take away our freedoms. Take away the freedom to live an authentic life. They don't know how to simply shut the F up and keep it moving and focus on what really matters. Because that's how, what's his name, Gavin Newsom should have responded. Oh, we have to be more culturally normal. We are culturally normal, you disgrace. He lands, of course, right into the validation of the right-wing framing, which you should never do because they're hateful, divisive, and they're wrong. There's nothing, if you're trans, you're culturally normal. You're a human being. Leave people the F alone. He's specifically saying that Democrats that we should spend less time on pronouns. Well, we don't spend any time on pronouns. It's treating basic respect and civil rights like a distraction, a marginal distraction that we're obsessed with, instead of just a part of a core pro-freedom brand. That's what we're about. Leave people alone. We're about freedom, decency, respect. That's what it's about. And if you can't do that, well, move on. You don't have to do it. Go into your hovels, go into your little communities, and you can live your own life the way you want to live, but you don't get to tell other people. And if you don't like somebody's pronoun, that's none of your fucking business. That's what it means to live in a free, democratic, multiracial society of adults who aren't obsessed with somebody's pee-pee. Nobody speaks about peepees more than the Republicans. And how dare you, Gavin Newsom? How dare you? It's always about throwing the marginalized, the politically unconnected, the misunderstood under the bus. That's not what Democrats do. But here we go, right? This is why I guess he's listening to the corporate democratic, what do you call it? They're not the pundits, they're the consultants that have lost elections, that told Kamala Harris to go pal around with Liz Cheney. Why don't you just be yourself, right? Why don't you just like Mamdani? You want to talk about kitchen table issues? Follow his lead. That's how he trounced the Democratic establishment here in New York. He beat the Democratic establishment. He beat the Wall Street establishment. He won in a landslide by staying true to democratic ideals. And that included embracing trans people for who they are, who we are. framing it as it's an issue of freedom and respect and leaving people alone. And you don't have any business in somebody else's business. I mean, God damn it. This is why the Democrats are annoying as fuck. And that I don't know. I mean, I appreciate Gavin Newsom's Twitter feed, but he's another one that doesn't want to upset the billionaires. And now here he goes again, attacking to the right, attacking marginalized communities. It's so disgusting. But he ties it directly to electability, right? Is that how we get elected? We get elected on hate too? Is that it? Why don't you take the opportunity as a leader, Gavin Newsom, to stand up for the marginalized and politically unconnected and educate people, and stop focusing on it. That's all you have to tell the CNN reporter. Oh, I was out in front on gay marriage, and yeah, I made these mistakes too. Go fuck yourself. God. It's normal? It's normal to be a hate-mongering trans basher. When we know that these right-wing closet cases, whenever they all get together, they crash Grindr because they hate themselves. And they're all in these goddamn Epstein files. Raping children. I'm just hearing the words coming out of my mouth. It's hard not to talk about it. And I know that it kills the algorithm on YouTube when you use these words. But how else do you talk about it? God. Right? But, oh yeah, it never stops with the Democrats. And to say that he's against the billionaires tax, he says that billionaires, they're just going to leave, they're going to flee. Good. Like FDR said, we will miss you. Go for it. But instead of being a supplicant to these billionaires who, if we took if we taxed them down to being half a billionaire, let's say, we're talking about near a trillionaire like Elon Musk, who is a welfare queen too. A large portion of his fortune, of our ill-gotten gains of our tax dollars that he's sitting on, this welfare queen. There's a whole welfare royal family of billionaires who just suck on the government teat, take our tax dollars, and they don't, that it's not enough for them, though. If we took half of Elon Musk's billions away, it's near a trillion, it's over 700 million now, or billion, excuse me, I think he'd be fine. But, they gotta flee. They're gonna flee to Texas. Good, fucking flee. We will miss you. Flee. Then this is why we have to put these people in their place. We have to shame them, name them, and shame them. Gavin Newsom should be at the vanguard of that movement, pointing out, hey, don't buy from these billionaires. Look at what they do. They don't like democracy. They're destroying democracy. They don't have enough. They don't want to pay their fair share in taxes. They have no gratitude to the society that made them rich. They want to have their boots on all of our necks. That's how you play it, Newsom, because it's the truth. Not because it's some game like the Republicans play, where they have to lie and say how Trader Trump has done so many amazing things. America's back. We're back. Is that why the United States is reviled throughout the world? We're so back. We're so back that the world's dictators are dancing in the streets with joy. at how how we've allowed the baboon to destroy us from within? We're back, baby. And what a disgrace to hop on the bandwagon to beat down a marginalized community. And of course, the traitor Trump, during the lie to the union, had to jump on there of bashing trans people. That story, they take one story and they run with it. This is what Republicans do. It's argument by anecdote. It doesn't matter the fact that we have the studies, the reporting. We know that detransitioning is rare. I'm talking about the what's her name, Sage Blair, who is a traumatized Virginia teenager whose history of bullying, running away, sexual exploitation. This has been turned into a political weapon on the right. And they pick one thing, one person, right-wing legal groups, and this person's, Sage Blair's grandmother, apparently is a real right-wing freak who has been, teamed up with these right-wing legal groups to attack trans kids. So when he pointed to this Sage person, Sage Blair, and the camera cut to her, I just thought, wow, I hadn't heard of her, but she's all over right wing, as we know. Because they pick one, arguing by anecdote, they pick a story. And when I saw that, when they cut to her, I thought, wow, in a few years we're going to get the real story here about this traumatized kid. And, of course, the lies throughout that story. Michelle Blair is her grandmother, her mother/grandmother, says the school socially transitioned Sage behind her back, but that's exactly not true, of course. The girl, she ran away after severe bullying. This is a mentally ill teenager. Do you think Traitor Trump gives a shit about mentally ill teenagers? Especially, do you think Republicans do? They cut funding for mentally ill teenagers. Of course they do, and did. Remember how, it's not the guns, it's mental illness. Well, they cut mental illness for youth in schools, like they cut everything else, because there's not a dollar that can go to anything other than making the rich richer. But this is what Republicans do. They took this complex this story, this fable, this trauma of this traumatic teenager, and they turned it into another caricature, just flattening it down, this complex story into trans people are bad and they should be stopped. And so should everybody who has any respect for them or tries to help, or, this is what they're doing. They're trying to make everyone who respects trans people, who supplies or provides gender-affirming care or support, trying to turn us all into criminals, just like the Nazis did. But, okay, using one story, of course, as evidence against all gender-affirming care is as transparent as it is. They framed her as detransitioned under family and religious guidance. Because, this is just a lurid, one-sided version of one person's story. It strips out all of the complexities and makes everybody else must be transitioning in error somehow, because your pee-pee must attach to your brain. It's hardwired, your pee-pee and your brain, according to maggots, even though we know that's not true. Your gender identity is in your brain, not in your pee-pee. It doesn't matter. It's all about it's all about dividing people and attacking a trans community, which are the most vulnerable, the most misunderstood and under attack right now. And that's why it's so disgusting that Gavin Newsom joins in the melee against trans people, instead of using his platform to stand up for trans people. I mean, that's the courage we need. Stand up, shame the shameless. I know it's hard to shame the shameless, but you can at least try. When you do that, you educate others and you call out the bullying. It's just another example of bullying. Because they don't give a shit. Republicans don't care. They don't care about Sage either. Sage Blair, they couldn't give a shit. It's unreal. What is clear, the whole story is yet to unfold completely about Sage Blair, but what's clear is that this is a deeply vulnerable kid who was failed on multiple fronts. Her peers, her family, the adults around her, and now she's being exploited and paraded by powerful pedos like Trader Trump, who use her pain as ammunition to roll back rights of every trans kid in the country. Of course, they wouldn't put trans kids up there who are happy with their transition and saying, if I didn't have gender-affirming care, I would have committed suicide. But they don't care. That's not what it's about. It's about more pain, more division. I want to play one clip before I move on to the last. We only have a few, you know how it is on Tuesdays. Where is it? But I don't know. This was the best summary. Senator Warnock's summary of the State of the Union, the lie to the Union.
Donald Trump is a plague on the American conscience. He is a desperate and divisive demagogue who's trying to distract us because he doesn't know how to lead us. And so it's what we witnessed tonight is really deeper than partisan politics. I'm not naive about what happens in politics. We've all seen the brass knuckle politics. It's a contact sport. But I can tell you, as someone who was sitting in the chamber tonight, he unleashes a kind of poison into our politics that divides neighbor against neighbor. I wondered time and time again as I listened to him, what are my colleagues thinking as he's saying all of these things in the vicious way in which he attacks? It's really beyond partisanship. It is a kind of wickedness being unleashed in the ether. And it has consequences, tragic consequences, sometimes deadly consequences. He is tearing at the fabric of our nation. And why is he doing this? Because as he keeps us distracted, as he keeps people looking at their neighbor and remaining suspicious of them because they're perceived to be other in some way, he is moving wealth from the bottom to the top. He is enriching his family and people like himself while keeping Americans at each other's throat. But the American people are smart. They are savvy. And the polling shows us that they see what Donald Trump is up to. And come November, they're going to call him to account, and those who are enabling him in Congress.
God,
strong words,
help us.
stirring words. Senator Raphael Warnock.
From his lips to God's ears, so to speak. Right? Nam Yoho Renge-kyo on that. The words, are strong, but they are accurate. He's wicked. He unleashes a wickedness. Something in the chamber. When Senator Warnock thinks, what can my colleagues be thinking right now? And that's what I was thinking. What are Republicans thinking as they're sitting there laughing and clapping? this unhinged, America-hating baboon. Well, one more story. We only have 10 minutes left. You know, we got to keep it tight. Keep it tight on Tuesdays and Thursdays here at the Tarabusters show. Thank you for everything. Become a patron, patreon.com. Please subscribe to my Substack. All that. Okay, I do, as you know, I write for the Political Voices Network. I just wrote an article if you want to check it out. If you're already a subscriber, you can check it out at the Political Voices Network. But it's about, I don't know. Okay, I live in New York, right? As you guys probably know who've been around. And here in New York, like over the country, there's a giant blizzard. We just had a giant blizzard, and one after the other. It's been pretty challenging, especially for the community cats, I have to tell you. But one of the things that our great Mayor Mamdani did, I can't talk. Forget pronouns. I don't know how to. I got no grammar today. But one of the things that our great mayor did was he employed snow shovelers, emergency snow shovelers. Put the call out. If you want to make extra money, just go to any fire department or sanitation hub and sign up to be an emergency snow shoveler. But of course, maggots who have no ideas, they have they have nothing to offer, and they need every reason to, they don't need a reason, they just divide and conquer on every fissure of disunity. They attacked Mamdani, saying, oh, Democrats require ID for snow shoveling, but oppose it for voting. As you can see, that's Caroline Leavitt's tweet. Caroline Leavitt. And Trader Trump had I don't know, some kind of rambling, was it a press conference? He went on about it.
New York, and he's a very nice person. I met him, but his ideology is not too good. But we're having a massive snowstorm right now, and I've heard that he's asked people to come out and help shovel the snow. Okay, so you get a shovel and you start shoveling, right? What the hell? You're not going to help too much, but you can help. And hello.
All right, he goes on about, I fixed your eyes.
No, my friend, right? Are you okay? Yes, you. Me off, but that's okay.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Okay, you could see the whole clip if you read my article or look at the video. So as you see, this is what Republicans do. They pretend, oh, I'm so confused. He said, get a shovel. You could always get a shovel. Pick up a shovel. Okay, what? You're not going to do much help, because Republicans would never. They have no ideas anyway. They have nothing to offer. And, they'd sit on their ass and not come up with any ideas, and then whine and bitch and moan about Joe Biden when it didn't go well. And so Mamdani created these temporary positions, but the Republicans just can't let go of it, because these positions, the temporary jobs, require a municipal work permit. And that's only if you want to get paid. If you want to get paid, yeah, you will come and show your ID. And if you don't want to get paid, you're certainly welcome to pick up a shovel. Here's a right-wing news report.
New York City's socialist mayor Zohran Mamdani getting slammed for his latest proposal, calling on New Yorkers
He's not getting
to sign up
slammed.
to become emergency snow shovelers. Over the weekend, he announced that anyone who wanted to shovel for the city had to show multiple forms of identification with photo IDs, copies of those forms, and even a social security card. Critics are calling out his hypocrisy for requiring strict documentation to shovel city streets, but no idea or proof of citizenship to vote in elections. Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson posted, if Zohran Mamdani supports showing ID to shovel snow, Senate Democrats ought to support showing ID to vote. Let's pass the Save America Act by unanimous consent.
God. You see what I mean? Every opportunity to advance their hateful, America-hating, kiss-up, kick-down agenda, dividing people. Yeah, okay, let's just point out their hypocrisy. Oh, Mamdani is getting slammed. He's not getting slammed. Nobody was slamming him but the right wing. But, of course, because that's what they do. There is, okay, and then they say, he's getting slammed for requiring ID to shovel snow, but not for voting. You have to show ID when you first register to vote. See, here in New York, we show up and you sign the voter rolls. That's how it works, because you're a registered voter. Then you get on the rolls. When you first apply to get on the voting rolls, you need to show ID. You show your ID at the time of registration, and then you're registered. That's why in-person voter fraud is a myth. It doesn't exist. If it happens, it's usually an accident, in fact, or a right-winger, and that is the truth, because they've been fed this misinformation for so long. They think they think they're cute, and we've seen many incidences of this where they go and they vote with their dead husbands, whatever, they sign in as their dead husband, and they get caught. Okay, that's how you know it works. And there are consequences for it. So studies show that putting up barriers, because even when you have to, because the Republicans say, well, we'll give you a free voter ID. It's not free, because you need to go and to run those bureaucratic hoops to get the documentation. And this is why they're like, the SAVE Act, pass the SAVE Act, because the only thing they're saving is their own cushy, phony, baloney, kiss up, kick down, I got mine, sucks to be you, jobs in government. They're phony representative positions. They're not representing anything but themselves and the billionaires. So they're saving their own skins. They're saving Trader Trump from impeachment, from a third impeachment, and it's coming. And hopefully jail. But, so that's why, to say that we require, just pick up a shovel and start shoveling. Well, you can do that. But if you want to get paid, you got to follow the law. Now, tell me, guys, this is true. If Mamdani didn't, if he just paid people under the table with cash, you don't think the Republicans would be screaming about hiring illegals and doing it off the books? So it doesn't matter what you do. They have nothing decent to say. They have nothing to offer this country, or much less any community. They have nothing but whiny little angertainment distractions that are ultimately designed to destroy this country further. They're not helping anything. We know Voter-I.D. is a poll tax. They know it. That's why they do it. And if they had ideas, if their policies actually made people want to vote for them, they would make Election Day a holiday. They wouldn't stand in the way. They would do everything in their power to register more voters instead of kicking them off the voting rolls. And as studies show, the people who have difficulty when Republicans put voter ID laws in effect, the people who have difficulty are the demographics that, for the most part, vote Democratic. And that's why they do it. And so, it never stops, the divide and conquer, angertainment shit show. He's in hot water. He's getting heat. He's being attacked. No one's attacking the mayor for this temporary municipal job, and it paid $30 an hour. So people were signing up. They wanted to do it. It was a very effective and it was a good thing. And of course, Republicans don't like good things. That's why we can't have good things. They are the worst. Then they need to be legally and peacefully shoved into history's trash bin, not emulated, Gavin Newsom. All right, guys, thank you for hanging out. We will win. We're on the right side of history, decency, dignity, democracy, humanity. Thanks for hanging out today. Follow my Substack, and I'll see you tomorrow night, 8:30-ish p.m. We have author Charles Derber on tomorrow night. He wrote a book, Fighting Oligarchy, so that should be very interesting. And thank you, Charlie, APS Radio and APS Radio News. I'll see you soon. See you tomorrow night.